Hello, Mr. Abdul Manan.
Hi.
We are really pleased to have some conversation with you today.
Okay.
So, first of all, let's talk about why you chose this profession as a teacher, because even though you know it is really tough, one of the difficult job in the world.
As a student, I have been taught by many good teachers and I have been very positively impacted. So the reason why I'm this successful is because my teachers believed in me and they have given me a good education. So I want to pay it forward, and even from young, this has always been my dream job.
Dream job it was, yes?
Yes, it was.
Was there any day you regretted to choose this profession?
Oh yeah. Like any other job, even teaching job, there are some days you feel very tired because sometimes the way you taught, the student didn't understand and you don't feel good that day. So there are some days where I will come back and I'll think about the lesson and say, should I have taught it better? Yes, there are some days where, and I ask myself, am I really a good teacher? But what I do is when I reflect on what has happened, I'll go back the next day and I will reteach something that I have not done well. So this is the good thing about teachers. When you feel that you didn't do a good job, you can always go back and change the way you have done it so the students still get the best from you.
As you know, everything has two sides.
Yes.
A coin actually has two sides. So let's talk about the most joyful and memorable days while you were teaching the students.
Oh, okay. For me, the most memorable day is when I see my own students, let's say, taking part in competitions and winning. And when they are doing the preparation, they come to me for help and I'll give them some guidance. And with the guidance, they actually create a model and they take part in the competition. And when they really get first prize and things like that, I really am very happy because there was a competition where some of my students actually did so well that they were selected to represent Singapore in USA. So that was one of my happiest moments.
What do you think is the reason why teachers are undervalued in some countries?
I feel that because in many countries, it is all about money. So I know that in many countries, teachers are not paid very well. Although their job is so important, the salary that they get is actually not equivalent to the kind of work that they do. So I feel that could be the reason why sometimes people don't really value their profession, you know. But I think that if in countries like Korea, even in Singapore, the teachers are highly paid. And because they are highly paid, the respect for teacher is very much there. So it really depends on the society and the pay structure actually. So I'm sure in Uzbek as well, if you're a lawyer, maybe you earn more than if you're a teacher. So maybe they think that lawyer is a better job. So sometimes I feel it could have been the reason.
What role does technology play in your teaching approach?
Oh, okay. When I first started teaching, of course, there was a lot of writing on the board, right? But and that in let's say 20 years back, the students were happy with what we were doing. But if I use the same way to teach, it's not going to work because right now, even children as young as 4 years old, 5 years old in Singapore, they have a handphone. So they are already doing a lot of things with technology from very young. So when you bring the same students into the classroom, you must make sure that your lessons have a lot of things. So you need to have some online quizzes, you need to have videos, you need to have discussion. You know, you need to use all this technology. If you don't use it, your lessons will not reach out to the students because the type of students that we are teaching now is very different.
Yes, you said very useful ideas about this, but you know, along with most beneficial sides of the internet or technology as well, there are some negatives.
Yes.
What do you think about this?
Good. So in Singapore, what we do is we control the iPad that they use. So all the students have to bring, let's say, an iPad. So let's say this school, the whole school adopts an iPad approach. So they use iPad for lessons. But the iPad has a software the school will install, so the students are restricted. The use is restricted. And for example, my daughter, she has an iPad. After 9 o'clock, she cannot use the iPad. The iPad will shut down. So this is some ways where you can help to reduce the negative effects.
Yeah, you know, there are some peoples at school, for example, who ignore you, who ignore your decisions. What kind of methods do you use in this way?
When you're talking about the management.
Yes, management
Okay.
methods.
Okay, so like for example, if you feel that you as a teacher you want to suggest something but yet your management is not supportive. So one way to convince the management is to show success stories of what you are suggesting that has happened in other place. So for example, I want to convince my management that I want all my students to use iPad. Then my management say no, you don't need. Then I need to show them, look, in this country, this classroom, this is how they are using it. So you need to show them a lot of examples of successful stories to convince them to help the students.
What do you think? In the future, AI can replace human teachers?
No, AI cannot replace teachers, but AI will become a very important part of teaching tool. So right now, I give you an example. So when in many countries, even in my own school, there, when students write composition essays, they can actually put their essays in AI. The AI will read through, give you feedback, and you improve the essays. So there are some ways where AI can help you, but nobody can replace a teacher because students need somebody to talk to them. A robot cannot replace a teacher.
Cannot fill them,
So,
yes.
so a robot can help part of the job, but the robot cannot replace teachers. I feel that in many jobs, sometimes you don't need a person. Like I have been to hotels in Japan where the front counter is run by a robot. You give your passport, the robot scans and give you the key. So you don't need a person. But for schools, you always need teachers. That's my belief.
Brilliant ideas. What about online schools?
Okay, online schools is actually getting popular and rightfully so. If there's a COVID and before and after COVID. Before COVID, not many people were interested in online lessons because they feel that it's not the same as classroom. But because during COVID, many students attended online lessons, now it's very common. So now I see that even in Singapore, in Malaysia, in Bangkok where I have schools and I've taught before, I realized that actually students are alright having online lessons, but it cannot be 100% because they need to come to school to do experiments. Online, if you see an experiment on video, it's not the same as you're doing. So there are some things that you can only do it in school. So online can be okay, but it cannot be 100% of the time.
Mr. Manan, thank you so much.
No problem.
We believe all of the viewers can take something useful from our conversation today.